Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Joe Bachman. So I wanted to give you a little background on how my song, A Soldier's Memoir, was written and the story behind the song. In May of 2011, I was playing down in Key West, Florida for the Songwriters Festival. I was playing it for about 150 of our armed forces. It was 3:30 in the afternoon, and I invited each and every one of them back to my show that night. We were playing a full band show at Sloppy Joe's at 10 o'clock. So at 9:45, I was standing on stage. The room was completely mobbed. It was capacity crowd, 600 plus people. And of those 600 people, 300 of which was our armed forces and their families. So about 9:45, a buddy of mine came up to the front of the stage, Lieutenant Daniel Sheridan of the United States Air Force, and he kind of held up his cell phone like this to the front of the stage, and he said, the cell phone said, "Joe, please make an announcement. We just killed Bin Laden." And so here I am about to try and start a party for 600 people with probably the heaviest announcement I've ever had to make in my life. And I was like, brother, there's no announcement I'd rather make, but if there's just any slight 1% chance that I'm wrong or it's not fact, I look like the biggest jerk in the world. So he was like, no, I get it. And he called over a buddy of his that was a 6'5" Marine Corps major, could have broken me in two with his pinky. And he said, son, I promise you our Navy SEALs captured and killed Bin Laden tonight. And I also promise you that in about an hour it's going to be public knowledge. So there's 300 plus armed forces and our families that are in the room right now, and we deserve and we want to celebrate, so please make that announcement. So I went ahead and made it, and as you can only imagine, it was the most incredible night and show of my entire life as far as an entertainer is concerned. We played for 4 hours straight without a break. We brought up countless members of the armed forces up on stage while we were playing. We held the American flag, and it was just a surreal night. There's no other way of putting it. So the next 7 weeks, the boys and I were on the road. When we finally got home from the road early part of July, I walked in the front door of my house, and sitting on my living room table was a box. And I opened up the box, and inside the box was an American flag and a plaque. Well, what I didn't know was that night that we were celebrating down there in Key West, my friends that were stationed in Gitmo were actually watching us live on the webcam. They learned the news along with us. They were so taken back by our celebration, they actually took a flag that night and they flew it for 9 minutes and 11 seconds over the base at Gitmo, and they presented it to me for my patriotism. It's the greatest gift I've ever received in my entire life. And it leads me to this song. About 20 months ago, I received a text message from one of those gentlemen that presented me with the flag. His name is Lieutenant Commander Jason Duff of the United States Navy. He's a psychologist. When this happened, he was stationed in Gitmo, and since then he's been stationed in Okinawa. Well, the text message read, Joe, there's a whole bunch of songs about our armed forces. There's just as many about the unfortunate ones we've lost. But what I've never heard before is a song specifically written for those that have gone overseas, have fought for our country, and have since come home and are dealing with what they heard, what they felt, what they smelled. It's called PTSD. And I took the message as both an honor and a challenge. I spent the next 4 or 5, 6 months researching, talking to my dad, retired United States Army, countless members of my friends and family that are both active military as well as veterans. And I just got to a certain comfort level where I brought this song to a friend of mine in Nashville named Mitch Rossell. And Mitch and I wrote this song together, and I tell everybody it's my favorite song I ever wrote, and it's the most important song I ever wrote. The reason it's my favorite is just the amount of time and energy and research that went into it and talking to my friends and family about learning about this unbelievable thing. And the reason I say it's my favorite thing I've ever written is because we've learned over the last 8 months or so now that the United States military is using my song as therapy for those that are coming home and are dealing with what they heard and felt and smelled. So please check out my YouTube video. As you can see, I'm wearing the Boot Campaign t-shirt, and proceeds from this song go towards the Boot Campaign, and it's bootcampaign.com, and their motto is, when they come back, we give back. So please take a look at A Soldier's Memoir, PTSD song, take a look at the Boot Campaign, and thank you so much for your support.